What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and we do things a little bit differently over here. I've never really gone with the flow, and I don't really see a point in that. Yes, I go to YouTube, to learn, to find new ideas, all sorts of stuff. But one thing I've realized, according to YouTube, is a lot of stuff is, sort of pushed on you because of emails and marketing dollars. And I get the emails all the time from people. It just is what it is. But I will never guide you wrong, right? But a lot of times these people are claiming it's their favorite handgun, or it's this or it's that, because of what's on the back end, right? So that's what makes us a little different. There's a lot of stuff I find over here that you will never see pushed that is just great. For instance, right here, the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 2.0 subcompact. If you don't like Glocks, this subcompact right here is absolutely amazing. You can find them for reasonable prices. You can find them for even better prices used. I've yet to even have a single hiccup, and man, is this a flat shooter. And on top of that, it takes all the full-size Smith & Wesson mags. And this is one of those handguns that I never even knew was still being sold or actively produced by Smith & Wesson. And then I just happened to come across it for a really good deal because of that manual safety, and I jumped on it. And ever since then, this has been basically one of my favorite handguns for everyday carry or just simply to shoot at the range. And I would definitely recommend it to new users or new firearm owners because of how well it handles that recoil. But anyways, it's the M&P 9 2.0, the subcompact. Now, another option from Smith & Wesson. You heard about it when it first came out, but nothing since. A lot of people crapped on it. This handgun is as solid as can be. This is, if you're looking for a Micro 9 with no recoil, you found it. This is the flattest shooting Micro 9, and it's smaller than a lot of them. On top of that is the most ergonomic Micro 9. You get a full 2.5 fingers on it in a 12+1 setup. On top of that, for all my lefties, ambidextrous controls. Everything about this handgun is just great. The trigger is a 1911 style trigger. People complain about that. You heard that false reset. It is one of the fastest shooting Micro 9s that I own. I absolutely love the CSX. People crapped on it, but never really came back and talked about it. Mine has been absolutely flawless, and I actually highly, highly recommend this handgun to anyone in the concealed carry market. Next up, the FN. The FNS 9C. Now, I get that this is discontinued, but this sort of flew under the radar. I've seen these for as low as $275 used, as that's I paid $300 for mine, but I just saw one recently at the local gun store for $275 used. This little small handgun from FN is 12+1, and obviously it takes all the larger mags, and even came with a 17-round mag with a grip sleeve on it, so there is no gap. This thing right here is a beast of a handgun, 100% reliable, pretty decent trigger on it. It is the hinge trigger, but pretty decent trigger. Great texturing, just a good, solid everyday carry choice. Stuff like this is built like tanks. A lot of these Micro 9s, the P365 for example, it just doesn't feel like the build quality is there. Stuff like this is top-notch build quality, built, like a compact, like a full size, built like a handgun that you're actually going to use to defend yourself. Next up, other calibers. You do not see any gun tubers talking about larger calibers than 9mm. It's like 40 doesn't exist. Yeah, they'll shoot a 1911 and 45, but they'll never talk about any of these other options in 45. So I just thought I would point something out. Right here, the Glock 33, 9+1, and on top of that takes all the larger Glock 33 mags. So you can get some pretty crazy capacity out of this. 357 SIG. 357 SIG is the most superior ballistic round other than 10mm. As far as civilian concealed carry is concerned, to still get a small handgun with capacity with ridiculous ballistics and a short barrel, 357 SIG is your answer. This right here, 9+1, like I said, this is the Glock 33. I have two of these now. I absolutely love the Glock 33. And no, the recoil isn't that bad. Next up, the IWI Masada Slim. This thing was talked about. It was reviewed, but I haven't seen much more on it. This thing, is what the Glock 43X wishes it was, right? Even though I love the 43X, they wish it had this for a trigger, right? Ready? It wishes it had that for the trigger. It wishes it was 13 plus 1. On top of that, the Glock 43X is thicker in the frame, but lighter in the slide. Now, I get the 43X is one of the lightest handguns for its size, but they did opposite. Therefore, you get all that recoil mitigation from the thicker, heavier slide, but still have the concealability of the thinner grip. Now, they also make different grip modules for this thing. I absolutely love the IWI Masada Slim, and I think it's extremely slept on. Next up, the XDM series in general. Unbelievable. They have it in 45. They have it in 10mm. They have it in 9mm. They have the full size. This right here is the 3.8. I got this used for $200. I love this thing. The number one thing I would say about any Springfield XD series is the way it handles recoil. Whatever Springfield Armory did between this and the Hellcat series, I'm not sure, but they need to go back to this recoil system. Now, obviously, it's much heavier and thicker and stuff, but they absolutely knocked it out of the park. I got this used for $200. If this was my only concealed carry handgun, I would feel completely fine with it. You can find them used all over. You can find them brand new. I've seen them brand new for $450, $399 recently. It's a heck of a handgun, and it takes a 35-round OEM mag made by Springfield Armory. Absolutely ridiculous. Now back to some 45s. Springfield Armory XD Mod 2, the grip zone. Yes, all jokes aside, other than that grip zone, they're just built like tanks. Built to last. This is the Mod 2 in 45 ACP, so 9 plus 1. I also have the larger mags that are like 12 or 13 plus 1. Love this thing. It feels like you're shooting something just a little bit more powerful than a 9mm, and you get a bigger, larger round. And some of this new ammo that they're releasing for 45 ACP handguns is just ridiculous. This thing is not lying when it's telling you it's a grip zone. That zone grips. It's ergonomic, feels good in the hand, and you can find these used all over the place for amazing, amazing deals. That was $275. Next up, pocket pistol wise, there's all this talk of the LCP Max, you know, the bodyguard. Right here is one of the smallest pocket pistols. Yes, it's not a double stack, but that's the point. To keep it as small as possible. This thing right here is a 6 plus 1, takes down like a Glock, take Glock sights, Diamondback DB380 Gen 4. For how small it is, no, it doesn't lock back. It's a pocket pistol, guys. It's a get off me gun. Trigger, actually pretty decent. A little bit of over travel. Decent reset. The shootability of this handgun is ridiculous for its size. But something like this, you know, I'll show you compared to an XDM. It makes a big difference when you want a backup gun or just something to throw in the pocket or, you know, whatever the case may be. I mean, look at that. That's where this really shines. And this would allow you to get a pocket pistol for somewhere around $200 to $220. That's typically what you find them for. I think I paid $220 for mine. They're just good, solid pocket pistols. Never give me a single issue, but make sure you are buying the Gen 4s, right? Next up, the Stoger series. The Stoger Micro Compact. To me, I like this better than stuff like the P365. This is a heck of a Micro 9 with a lot of features, awesome texturing, stainless steel guide rod, and the trigger, solid as can be, feels really good in the hand. And it does have an upgraded version that comes optics ready with night sights. I got the cheaper version for review purposes, and this thing has honestly shocked me. That's why I gave it the sleeper of the year. Next up, the PX4 series in general, any PX4. But in particular, the subcompact. You saw what I just did? Don't mind if I do. Make it a little more comfortable. No, I'm just messing with you guys. Pretty cool feature, though. The PX4 Storm from Beretta. This is the subcompact. 13 plus 1 of 9mm. I love this thing. All of the PX4 Storms have no recoil. The ones with the rotating barrel have even less recoil. This one does not have the rotating barrel, but I'm telling you, no recoil. The trigger is a beastly, beastly, beastly trigger. Comes with a decocker and a really nice, clean, double action trigger pull. These are going to last you a lifetime. If you want just one handgun for the next however many years, go with something like this. Go with a Glock 26. Go with something that's just going to take an absolute beating and keep running and running and running. Some people like the way it looks, others don't. I love the way it shoots. That's why I like this thing. The PX4 Storm is a heck of a firearm that you don't hear anyone talking about, especially the subcompact. And last but not least, another subcompact. the Stoger Str9 subcompact. You can find these $275, $250, $299, and it's just a really nice shooting handgun. It is basically a Glock 26 clone, similar trigger to that micro compact. Nice reset, kicks out nice, feels good in the hand. It's basically a Glock 26 clone that has a rail, pretty decent features, pretty ergonomic in the hand. Now, obviously, I will say with budget firearms, they are more likely to have issues, but my Stogers have been pretty dang good. I really like them. So there you go, guys. Just thought I'd make that video. 11 handguns you should consider checking out that you just don't hear about. Thanks for watching, guys.